Welcome to chat night. We bring you good vibe. We shine on the light. We all over the world. Chat night Africa. We all over the world. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night. We bring you good vibe. We shine on the light. Welcome to chat night. We bring you good vibe. We shine on the light. We all over the world. Chat night Africa. We all over the world. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night. The only place that we give you good vibes. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night. All over the world we are shining the light. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Family Matters. My name is Divine Chamakong, and I'm anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Domestic violence, physical or psychological, is more rampant than you and I think. Women, like men alike, are victims, but oftentimes men look more like the aggressors. You wouldn't simply believe the agony so many men are subjected to by their loved ones. Much of this is unreported, usually because few men want to tell anyone women, described as the weaker sex, are abusing them. That's where our conversation begins today. And to dive deep into the crux of the matter, to tear off the cloak of silence over abuses suffered by men, we invited talk show queen Rosemary Ewanga, asking for a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, join me now in welcoming the one and only, one of the most popular social media influencers, Rosemary Ewanga, on the platform.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. We are glad to have you.
I'm so honored to be on your platform today.
I am more honored that you accepted to come on Family Matters on Chat Night. Today, we will be talking on domestic violence as seen through the lenses of men. The last time we talked about domestic violence, and whenever we do, people default to thinking that women are always the victims.
Absolutely.
Today, it's quite the contrary. We will also be opening the phone lines so that people can call and ask you questions, Rosemary. They can also, and they are accorded the right to challenge your points of view.
Absolutely.
Let's get into it. Rosemary, why are you so eager to come slam women abusing men when not too long ago you were here talking about how you were abused once by somebody you were in a relationship with?
I'm somebody who is very fair. I'm very open-minded. As much as we talk about domestic violence being rampant with women, I know, and I've seen men, and I know situation of where I've seen women who are very aggressive. I know that it happens too on the other side. The difference is that most men, because they are raised to be strong, we raised our boys not to cry, we raised them to suck it in, we raised them to be the pillars of the house, head of homes. So most often they think that coming out to talk about it takes away from their dignity, their ego, and their pride. And so this holds back a lot of men from coming out to talk. It does not mean that a lot of men do not suffer from domestic violence also. Yes, of course they do.
Domestic violence has largely focused on women as the victims. Why is that?
Because we chat, we talk. We are open to talking even with strangers, things that men would not do. We put out our feelings. We are emotional beings. Men are physical beings. So when it comes to emotions, we pour it out. We don't even care if it's for a total stranger. That is how we handle it. That is how we get the kind of help emotionally that we need, especially when you are really going through it. We are emotional beings. We like to chat, we like to talk, and we like to share what we are going through. That is just how, we are built. And so, because women talk about it more, and normally the men are supposed to be the strong and the arms, and they have the strong arms, and they are the head of the house, and they are big up there. And but you'll be surprised what even a little woman will do to provoke a very, very huge man out there. So it's just about the world, the society, and the environment that we grew up with have accepted these things, and it has made it hard for men to come out. But I'm so happy that in these modern days, more men are coming out to tell their stories. And it will shockalize you how somebody called me 2 weeks ago, a man. It's a show that I'm actually working on right now, how the wife, beats him, lock the door, and spank him. And he is afraid, especially with those in America, he's afraid to touch her because of the laws in this country. When the police comes, if they see anything on her and she says you did it, they always most often they takes the woman's side, especially if they can see that he laid hands on her. So he said for that reason he gets pushed, pushed him out of the way, something that if he did, the reverse would not be taken lightly by the law or by the society. But this is where we are. That's why we have to keep talking and creating awareness and letting these men know that you are not weak. You are not weak. It's your right to speak out. And the only way to help this situation, help our children, help our sons, is to speak out so people know that these things exist. And the best way to eradicate it is by talking, educating, communicating, and putting it out there.
When I put out this announcement, the announcement about this show, here's what somebody wrote to me. Men aren't generally or primarily the aggressor in many homes. What they usually do is react, sometimes excessively, to the perpetual emotional aggressions and provocations from their partners. Unfortunately, physical aggression is perceived more of a felony than nagging, verbal insults, attacks from the female gender. Rosemary, this is a terrible question I'm about to ask you, especially as you are a woman.
Sure.
From what this guy says, clearly he's saying that men would generally be very peaceful human beings if they were not dragged into undue provocations by their spouses. How far is this gentleman?
I totally disagree with this person. I am one person that I don't believe in sweeping everything with one brush. Every gender, it's this gender, that's what they do. This tribe, that's what they do. No, everybody is by the I look at them by the content of your character. I don't believe in looking at people by group or sex. It's an individual. You are responsible for your actions, because not every man is a bad human being, and not every woman is aggressive or disrespectful to their husbands. So I look at these things as individual issues.
Rosemary, he points out in his text to me some attitudes of women that could really, really, really provoke dangerous situations. Here's what he says: nagging, verbal insults, and so on. Why are you going to blame somebody who reacts to this kind of abuse from a woman?
Yeah, and I will still say that before I answer this question, it's not every woman. So I don't want people to put this as if it's every woman who behaves in this way. There are a lot of women who are very respectful of their spouses, their partners, their relationship, their children, because when you are disrespectful to your husband, you're disrespecting your children because they are watching. They are seeing all those things, and we are raising the next generation of abusers. So I will still say this. That's an individual issue. Yes, there are a lot of them, but we cannot brush it to every woman. But there are women who truly cannot control their temper, and especially now with the way the society is, I see us women, like I've seen women who used to be so respectful of their marriages, of their partners, of their situations, but because they have come here, they have progressed, they are making money, they turn to disrespect their husbands. And that is where most of these issues come. And it is a great thing. We all wanted independence. We all wanted growth. We cried for this for a very long time. We all wanted to have an opportunity to go out there and earn a living. And it's helping because the new world now, it's hard for household to be run by just a man. But the difference is, yes, when we have these opportunities and we are blessed, we forget that the men used to run the home. The men used to do all this, paid all the bills, even with the stress, and could still hold it together. So that's why I come to plead even with women that yes, it's a blessing when you have progressed. It's a blessing when you have grown. It's a blessing when you are making more money than your husband. That's good. It's an addition to the family, but it does not give us the right to be disrespectful or talk down on your husband or your partner just because you're earning more than them, or because you think that now you are earning an income. Your character should not change who you are. There was a program that I did, I think, a couple of months ago, and this man is a loving family, took care of his wife. They did so well. But when the 2008 economic crash came down, he lost his job, a very lucrative job. And at that time, a lot of people, it was so hard to get a job. There were people who were home for 4 years. It was not a joke. Anybody who went through that period here in America understood what it was. 2008 to 2007 to about 2012 was very difficult. There were people who were out of work for 4 years, 5 years. It's not because they were lazy. It was hard to find a job. It was terrible. Even those who drove cabs, they were not making money because if people were not going to work, who are you going to drive to work? So people were not making money. It was really, really hard. And this man lost the job. But you know what this man told me? What happened? This man lost the job. When he came back, that 4 or 5 years, who held the home? It was the wife. This woman did everything, held the home, did things. All what they used to do for the family, she still continued to manage, send Christmas time to send money for his own parents, and her own parents held it down, never looked down on him, never talked down on him. Nothing changed, even though she was the one earning the living. She was in that position. Turn around, he got a great job, came back around, and God was so blessed to have a job that he was making almost twice what he used to make when he lost his job during that time. And the first thing he did, he took her in a car, said, "Come with me. I want to take you somewhere." Took his wife, drove with her, went into a dealership, got her a beautiful Mercedes Benz. And she was shocked. She was shocked, like, you don't have to, we just came from not working. Oh, my husband, no. He said, nope. You stood by me. You, those 5 years, you never told anybody that I was not working. Nobody knew. Never put him down. Never told people that he's not working. The only people who knew, even his own family did not know that he lost his job. Did not tell them because nothing changed. She covered those holes. And this was his way to say, oh my God, I am blessed to have a woman like you. You did not put me out. You did not shame me. Nothing, nobody knew. Did not tell his friends that he lost his job. Nothing changed. But in those 4 or 5 years, she held it down. But guess what? Immediately he bought that Mercedes and brought it home. His family came crazy over him. You understand? Came over him. For what? What has she done? Oh my God, this person needs help in the family. This person needs help in the family. For the first time.
We will continue the story. Rosemary, I have somebody on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Rosemary, do you hear the caller?
Please, can you speak a little louder?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Do you hear the caller, Rosemary?
Very faintly. Can she speak a little louder?
Are you using the speaker phone?
No?
You should be clearer than you are.
She's so faint.
Okay, let me see if I can get back with you. Okay, please hang up.
Okay.
Yes, Rosemary, continue.
So the family came. Oh my God, this person needed this. You went and bought your wife a Mercedes. They were so angry at him. And that for the first time in 5 years, he said, in this America, this story is in this America. He says, sit down, you people, sit down. Do you know? Do you know how we survived in these 5 years? Do you know that did not work? Do you know who held this family down? Because I did not tell you, this woman respected me, gave me back did not make me lose my dignity, treated me the same way, came home, made sure nothing changed in our routine. Oh my God, you people. No, 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 no. This woman deserved this and more. If I had more, I would do to them. So I just go out to tell the story, sideline a little bit to tell the story, to show you that there are very good women out there, even so that's why we should not paint them with brush. Just like you have great husbands out there who appreciate their wives and see what they are doing. Action speaks louder than word. So I will never by anybody in a group.
Excellent. I think my hat's off to that lady. Let's see if I can reach this caller now. Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
Do you hear her, Rosemary?
Okay, let her speak. Let her speak.
Go ahead.
It's faint, but let her speak. I don't know why.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Lee Divine, thank you for having me on.
Okay, I hear her now well.
Can you just kind of do an overview of the topic?
We are listening to you.
Can you do an overview of the topic?
We are looking at abuses that men suffer silently.
Silently from women, from their wives.
That's an excellent topic, and it was just due over time that we didn't talk about this topic, as a lot of men, just go through abuse in homes and they don't talk about it, and society doesn't talk about it. But the reality is that in this dispensation, a lot of things have changed and times have also changed. Economically, they have changed. But the truth is that men are abused, even though there are percentages of men that are abused is not as great as that of women. But yes, a lot of men silently suffer abuse. And it could be in various ways, emotionally or psychologically, mentally, financially, physically, and even spiritually. Verbal abuse also happens in the home. And I know somebody is going to ask me, why do I say spiritual abuse is being mitigated on men? In as much as abuse is not gender bias, but when I talk about spiritually, we know where we come from, a culture that is plagued by what we call voodoo and the use of juju, call it whatever. When you go and use that substance, and somebody might argue, but the Bible says that the elements are waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God, which means that every element that we use, people use the sun, the moon, dust, and all those things which you can manipulate it to manipulate another human being. Whether we choose to accept or not, the reality is that a lot of men are being manipulated through that means and through that medium. All right. So if you use a DOS and you manipulate somebody so that they're directing their finances only to you and your family, that is abuse. I call that spiritual abuse. Men and a man who sits quiet in an abusive relationship, I call that person a liability. Because there must be a reason why you stay quiet and the woman is abusing you, whether it's physically, spiritually, financially, call it whatever it means. And
Absolutely.
you don't do anything about it. Either you don't have a choice, you don't have an option, or you are just being a liability. Now, liability in how? A man who chooses to stay in the home and not be productive, of course, over time, is it an excuse for your partner to abuse you? No. Majority of men who come from Africa, when a woman brings you from Africa into the diaspora, now they now turn you, because you owe them an obligation, you owe them that, they now turn you into what we call houseboys, right? And then you have to run chores and you be the handyman for them and do stuff, and they can do whatever they can. You can talk to them.
Please share.
And just because you're in that situation, because you bring somebody and they're depending on you, now you now turn them into your slave. That's abuse. It's physical abuse. Literally, I've seen men being slapped by the women in public. That's physical abuse, right? So yes, men are going through abuse, and there is no excuse. When you get to that point where you're not respecting your husband, please, you need to call it. That relationship is not for you. Any relationship you're in a partner and you're manipulating them in any means or form, that you don't call that a relationship. You don't want to take anybody's son and you're keeping them captive.
May I ask you a question, Dr. Veronica Fortune?
Sure.
I want to make sure that I heard you right. Did you say that you have seen women slap their husbands in public?
Oh yes.
Then you can imagine what's going on behind closed doors.
Yes, physical abuse. Literally slap the man. Yes.
I was going to ask you if you're writing a Nollywood movie script when you told me that, when you tell everybody that.
No, it's reality. Things that happen. Reality. Men who literally go on their knees and beg because they have no option. You can imagine you're coming from Africa and you're in Europe, right? I mean, in America, immigration laws are not that way, as an immigrant or an undocumented immigrant in Europe, or let me know Europe, because let me see things that I know here. And when you come with that notion, they are afraid of being, sorry about that, they're afraid of being deported, and so they will just answer yes ma at everything that the man says. I've seen a man who is on his knees literally begging because he needs a place to stay. He's begging this woman, holding her on her feet and actually crying. I said, don't do this to me. How do you call that? That's abuse. I call that abuse.
But Veronica Fortune, you're talking about a woman who claimed to love somebody in Africa, brought him here. So what should lead to that abuse?
That's not love. Let me say this, not being condescending. A lot of women who resort to going back home to get married is because they have tested all the waters and they have kissed all the frogs, and there is no one left, and it's like it's the last resort. They have to go home to just go get somebody's child, manipulate them with finances, with money, bring them over here, and a man who is desperate to travel, a man who is desperate for money, falls for it, not knowing that he's actually signing his death warrant. I don't call that love. I think majority of women who have overstayed their due overseas and they're not married or not in a relationship, when they resort to going back home, is their last resort. You don't call that love. When somebody becomes your last option, you don't love that person.
Thank you, Veronica Fortune.
I remember one of my lecturers told me things. And now it's time for him to get married. And he's just going to a bar and into a house, right? And he's testing all the wine. He's lost taste of he does not remember how the first one tastes. And neither is the last one. So he's just going to pick any option and go present it to his parents because they're expecting him to get married. That's the kind of situation, the scenario I'm talking about. You don't call that love.
Now, thank you so much. Can you wrap up in a few seconds what you want people remember about your appearance or your intervention on the program, Family Matters today?
Thank you so much. And in as much as we're talking about abuse being mitigated on men by women, I just want to retaliate that abuse is not gender biased, right? A bad woman is a bad man. A bad man is a bad man. We do have bad men on both sides. So I think the issue of trying to shed light, this whole conversation cannot be exclusive. We have to actually include both sides when we are doing our analysis, because every person is going to explain it depending on their experiences.
Unfortunately, I tried to get men on this program and none of them wanted to show up. That's the problem. But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bella Fountain, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Veronica Fortune on Family Matters. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
We love Chat Night Africa. Keep watching Chat Night Africa.
Beautiful. And that was Dr. Veronica Fortune dialing in from Seattle, Washington State. That's huge. I mean, I'm hearing revelations that just blow my mind. That a woman should slap her husband in public. If that's happening in public, then you can imagine what's happening behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
Now, when we talk about domestic violence, especially today, we're talking about against men meted out by women. That's an exercise of power and control, and this goes beyond just physical abuse. You talk financial, sexual, emotional, psychological, and all those things. What are you hearing more as being the way or the ways which women abuse their men?
See, when we talk about abuse, some people think that, oh, you have to take them, you have to hit somebody with your hand. Emotional abuse is worse. Abuse of all kinds is not good, it's bad, physical or emotional. But what women do to men, there are women who will not even hit those men, but emotional abuse is worse. And this is the thing, because when you do emotional abuse, everybody around that person does not see it. Only you, who is the victim of it, experiences it and understand the kind of pain and the torture that you are going through because of words. Words are weapons. Please, let's be careful how we use words. You cannot take them back. I don't care how you argue with your partners. I always tell people, please, if you cannot control yourself, if you walk away, leave the room, go take a walk. Don't say things that you will never take back, because a lot of marriages that could have been saved have became unsafe because the words that were used after the fight, after the storm, it was difficult. Even when people made up and go maybe see your therapist, see your pastor, talk to family members, those words are the things that keep people from changing the way they look at you, from relating to you the way they used to look at you, because in their heart, you've used words that hurt them. You see a woman turn to the man.
Just hold it there. We have somebody on the line. Hello, this is Family Matters.
Oh my God.
Hello?
It's very faint.
Okay. Hello, yeah?
Yeah, are you speaking on speakerphone or directly to the phone?
I'm actually in the phone right now.
Okay, Rosemary, do you hear the caller?
Can she speak a little louder, please? Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Can you speak a little louder?
I cannot.
Okay, let's do this here. I'm going to change the method of connection. Or just go on. Yeah, go ahead. Can you go ahead, please? Okay, I think she dropped off the line. I'm not sure why. Yes, Rosemary, you're saying something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh boy, I hope I get my train back. So, yeah, basically, I was saying that words are weapons. The wound is very deep. So even in the fights, be careful what you tell your partners, your wife, your husband, because there are certain words that those are the things that even after you say you're sorry and make up, those words linger in people's head and they use that as an excuse for an escape from the marriage. And it may not be that they choose to, but because the pain, and they look at you, you become a different person in front of them because they could never believe that you looked at them. Because there are women who will look down at you and even remind you, if not of my father, would you have had this job? If not of a poor man, if I did not marry you, me coming from a rich family, I came and married a man poor like you. Those type of words a woman should never say. You already knew the man came from that family. Using those words to hurt them like that is torture. That is abuse. That is abuse. You should never say that to the man that you love, the father of your children, or the man that you think that you want to raise your children with or have children with. All those things matter. Let me give you another example. There's this family, had a good life back home. God bless them. The wife had an opportunity to come here first, and she came, set up, worked hard, give her the credit. They were communicating well, doing everything well. They had 3 children they left back home, and they were doing well. The husband was there chaperoning, helping with the children, making sure everything was fine. Bottom line, she got herself together, went into nursing, smart woman, very intelligent, and then they got the documentations to bring the children. Everything, they sent the children ahead because schools were starting. She had been here for already 5 years, without being almost 6 years. Sent the documentation, made all the documentation for the children to come in. As soon as the children got here, and the man had sold their property, they have made all these plans, sold some few things to help even to get tickets for the children, she sent him a divorce paper. Those are the type of things that we should think the way we treat people. We should think. I don't know the genesis of their marriage or anything, but sometimes, please, even if you want to do it, that man could have still had that opportunity to come in here, and then even if you don't want the marriage, he has an opportunity to move on here. You don't make him do everything, signed off his job, sold properties, and then waiting just for the last straw and everything to be set for him to come here, you send him the divorce paper that you don't want the marriage anymore. That's abuse. That's your children's father. The one thing that we don't understand, growth, the fact that the growth, sometimes your blessings and your growth comes from maybe the marriage. A marriage is a covenant. It's from who you are aligned to, who you are married to. Sometimes we don't realize that maybe that was what gave you progress. That was what your upliftment came from. And you in the middle of it, thinking that you were being mean-spirited. Oh, now I make so much money. I don't want to share what I make. Because if he comes now, he has to come and start from square one. And I don't want to have to be the one paying the bills, because he's going to come and start maybe with a menial job and start from square one. But I'm here already tough. And you're doing that, not realizing that all those things you gain in those periods could be lost in a minute. People, let's be careful how we treat the men in our life. Is very important. Vice versa, but the working here, this case is about women. So these are the kind of things, that's abuse. Those are the kind of abuses. Abuse is not just to beat somebody up. It's your actions. It's the things that you do. You should have told him, prepared his mind. He should not have gone ahead and liquidated all the things he had to liquidate, because in your head, just like you told a friend, I'm not going to sit here, and now he has to come and start all over. Oh my God, how long am I going to pay bills for him to come up and be supportive? So wait, did you marry for money or did you marry for love? That's the question.
What many people are still wondering so much about is domestic violence women don't become this overnight. Is it that the men just missed certain red flags during the relationship, or what do you think happened?
It's just like we say, domestic violence is not gender based. Everybody goes through it. Just like the women, some people know how to put on a show, and then some people change. There are people who don't know how to. They say the right way to know somebody is when they don't have money. Some people don't know how to handle progress. Some people don't know how to handle growth. Some people don't know how to handle wealth. The moment they start having money, they start maltreating people. Look at people. Some people, when they look at you, they think that, oh, when they were broke and down, they'll go on their knees, they'll show you all the best characters so that you can keep taking care of them. And then the moment they start doing well, they are a different human being altogether. We see it all the time. And I'm sorry to say it, especially women, we do it all the time, but we forget to know that men have always, before this time, our mothers and those times, men used to make the money and they did not throw it on our faces. At that time, even the men will work, they take care of the husband, his own family, your own family, come, they're going, he's the one paying their transport, making sure, even helping sometimes educating your own brothers. But when it comes to a woman, well, for them, if they have made it and they have to help out, oh my God, everybody has to kneel down, everybody has to bow, everybody has to know, you have to showcase, you have to make the man feel so little, you have to control him, tell him, just talk to him anyhow. And we see it even here. You have women who are married. You run because now you are making good money. They'll go and start building their house, building properties. Well, that's abuse. That's abuse. You start to go build, and then they don't build in a city. They go right inside their own village. If you come from different part of the country, their own village to start building, because you know that is only for you. That's just some kind of abuse and selfishness. You cannot be in a marriage and do that kind of nonsense. It's not right. It's just very wrong. A lot of women are doing it. Just because now they make more money. That's abuse. It's abuse. For you to go and make an investment back home and your husband does not know until you think that you want to surprise. There are certain things you don't surprise your partners with. No, you don't go build a house as a woman and think you're surprising your husband. And then on top of that, you're building it in your father's compound. In your father's compound, you build a big, beautiful home and you don't tell your husband. That's abuse.
One person who has been commenting profusely is Reverend Pastor John Summer. The question I'm going to ask you is, or maybe
welcome.
Yeah, whether Pastor John Summer wants to respond by text or phone call, I don't know, but you also have an opportunity to respond, Rosemary Ewanga. You're a pastor, and a man in your church confides in you that he's being abused by his wife. What are you, the pastor or priest, to do? Pray for them, call the police, or do what? Rosemary, what are your suggestions here? And I'm waiting to see what John Summer writes as an answer.
My suggestion, one thing, and I say this, I am a Christian. I am a Christian, and I believe in therapy. I believe in talking, and I believe in fixing marriages or when partners are having loggerheads, to help see how you can situate them and diffuse the situation. The one thing, and I'm going to say this, and please don't, anybody out there who's a pastor, don't take it badly the way I say it. The one thing about when pastors do their counseling that drives me crazy is that you have a situation where it's physical abuse. You are seeing blood, you are seeing pain, you are seeing disrespect on both sides, whether it's a man or a woman, but they'll always tell you, pray and go back. Pray and go back. You come back the second time, the same thing. They'll tell you pray and go back. They tell you don't leave your husband. And that's how we see what happened to Osinachi, because all the church, everybody in church, she's a Christian, told her it's a disgrace. You cannot leave your marriage. You cannot leave home. The husband got the children to even beat her when they were trying to discipline them. You get your own children to beat you, and they'll tell you you cannot go nowhere, because if you go, it's a disgrace. Please, I will say this. Marriage, I've said it many, many, many times. Anybody who follows me, marriage is not a qualification. Marriage is not an upgrade. There's nowhere in the 10 Commandments where it said that you have to be married to be recognized or to have a position in the government, or to have a statue in the community. It's about the content of your character, and that is why even in the Ten Commandments, marriage was not that you must be married, my dear. Your life and your livelihood is number one. So when I pray that when they are doing this counseling, they should be fair. They should judge every incident by the situation of that home, and physical abuse is a no. And if they do it the first time and you counsel them and he does it the second time, I think that the whichever way, man or woman, your safety is a priority. You must be
Somebody is
taken out
on
of that
the
situation.
line.
I'm not talking.
Yeah, somebody's on the
Sorry?
line. Hello, is it clear to hour? Yes. Yeah, what are your contributions, sir? Or you have a question?
Yeah, thank you very much. I have some contribution. In fact, I usually would have prepared such a situation where it is actually balanced, talking about abuses of men against men and vice versa. But unfortunately, this topic for today is just for the case of women against men. And when I got this topic, I first of all ponder who is a man and who is a woman. Because I believe that a man and a woman is different from the context that I have experienced living in the United States of America for close to 5 years now. You know, from the African context of a woman from behavioral perspective and a man as well from behavioral perspective. And this makes it so much that sometimes most of the women here in America, when I see some of their behaviors, I just say in my mind that this is a man, not a woman, because of the excessiveness of their abuses, especially against the men. Recently, I was talking with a friend, and the friend told me, bro, you know, a man doesn't cry except he is inside the rain. I laugh until I ask why. He said, because you will not be able to distinguish whether it is tears coming out of his eyes or it is the rain that is falling on him and the water is dropping from his eyes. So to tie with what our guest, Madam Rosemary, talked about, that men, some of the men suffered a lot of abuses from women. Because of their ego, they find it difficult to even complain. I totally agree with that. And but equally, I agree with the fact that it is not every woman, but most of the women, especially the women who were the ones who came to America first and actually got their family camps over, as opposed to the cases of men who came first and then brought their wives. I have seen that most of the cases of men who came first and brought their wives, they had stable marriage, but those of women who came first and brought their husband, the marriages, most of them even shattered. And many reasons account for, and I'm happy she touched on one, that first money. The French people call premier riche. You know, some of these women back home in Africa, or in most countries in Africa, were not exposed to job opportunities that will give them good money. But yeah, most of the women, instead, they are the ones more prone to have jobs that earn them very good money, because the job that will earn them very good money are the jobs that require some kind of care for other people and things like that, nursing and so on, but which most of the men shy away from those jobs. And when they shy away from those jobs, these women go, they make more money, they now have economic power and authority over the men. To say that this thing is really common in the United States, and many men of African descent, they actually suffer such abuses, and because they only wait for rain before they can cry, some of them even have heart attack and die untimely as a result. So
let me ask you a question. Hello, Cletus.
Yes, Mr. Divine.
Somebody wrote to me saying that the aggressors are usually women because of their flippant behavior. They talk, they throw insults and so on. But shouldn't the man walk away?
No, but then it also depends on the situation. Like what you said is true. I had an experience where a woman even once told me, that it is normal for women to be that naggy and flippant and so on and talk down on a man. The man should keep quiet. In America, and it's only here that I see that kind of a thing. Why should a man keep quiet? There should be equity in a relationship. In as much as I am against men who abuse women, I am equally against women who abuse men. And unlike back at home, where from the perspective of our tradition, it is mostly them, because even back at home, such abusive women are equally there in their good numbers.
Cletus, you say why? Cletus, you say why should the man keep quiet? What should the man do?
Well, it depends on the context, Uncle. That's why I was coming to compare with at home. If it is in America, well, the man facing that situation, the man should weigh the benefit and the harm. Like Madame rightly said there in the studio, there are some men who are so desperate that to them it is as if there is no choice. They have to take all what they can take from the woman just, for the purpose of survival. And there are some men too who never take that, who will say they prefer to go back home. So it depends on the context and on the individual. But my advice to any person in such a situation is weigh the benefits and the harm. And many a times avoid acting in anger, because 99% of decisions taken in anger are usually the wrong one. So if I'm that man, I would preferably really walk away and reason over it, weigh the benefit and the harm. I may not act immediately, but will know that this is not a woman for me, and take my time and have a better transition out than to act in anger and maybe get myself into more trouble.
I have a last question for you, Cletus. Answer in 30 seconds. If you saw your friend being abused by his wife, what would you tell your friend?
Wow, if I saw my friend being abused by his wife, well, I would tell him he's the one wearing the shoe. It's always difficult to advise, in that kind of a situation.
Oh yeah, I remember the song Between Man and Woman, no put your mouth there. But
Yes.
I'm not going to let you go, Cletus, until you tell me what you would tell your friend.
I would tell him to assess the situation by himself and take a decision which will be his own, not based on my advice, because if he doesn't take my advice at the end, I'll become the enemy.
We love Chat Night Africa.
Okay, thank you, Cletus. Where are you calling from, by the way?
I am calling from Boston.
All right.
The capital city of Massachusetts.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my friend.
You're welcome. Extend my warm greetings to Madame Rosemary Wanga. She's such a wonderful woman.
Oh, by the way,
very powerful. I am very grateful for her presence.
If you have not subscribed to her YouTube channel, you better just go on YouTube, search Asking Number 4 a Friend. Asking for a Friend.
Thank you.
I can't wait to do that.
You will be blown away. This woman is something else. Okay, thank you so much. You are watching Family Matters on Chat Night Africa.
We love Chat Night Africa. Keep watching Chat Night Africa.
And my name is Divine Chamukong. I'm anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Rosemary Ewanga, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Cletus. Mm-hmm. If you have a wife, a friend woman, mm-hmm. and you see her abusing mm-hmm. her husband, mm-hmm. what are you going to tell your friend?
I'll be honest to her.
That what?
Tell us. I will sit her down, call her in for tea or coffee. We sit down, and I just tell her ask her what the problem is, and I will tell her, you know what you just did wrong. You abused, you insulted, you disrespected your husband in front of me, and I did not appreciate that. And by doing that, you really hurt him. Please, next time, if you people have a problem, wait until your guest is gone. Don't disrespect your husband in front of your guest. That's the first thing I would tell her. And if she proceeds to tell me what he has done, I will still reaffirm, please, never you disrespect your man in front of your guests, no matter what. Pretend as if you didn't see what he did that hurt you. Wait until your guest leaves and then address it with your husband. It's only fair. When you do that, you hit on a man's ego double, and it's hard for them to forget. The worst thing a woman can do to a man is disrespect them in the company of their guests. Walk away, handle it later. If he was the one who was the aggressor, everybody saw it. Don't retaliate. Don't do it, please. It will just escalate. Let it be. Work on it later. Don't respond.
I have another caller on the line. You are watching Family Matters. Let us see if the caller picks up the phone. Okay, I think she's on. She is a prolific social media person. That's Toyin, the most Ada.
Oh my God! Yes,
Adas.
I follow her. I follow her page. She's
Toyin
awesome.
Abiola, we're glad to have you on
Hi.
live.
Hi, Mr. Divine. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so sorry. The other time I was in the store, so I really could not talk. I'm glad I was able to connect eventually.
We are happy to hear you now.
By the way, I am honored to hear your voice. I follow your page. I love you. I love your write-ups. They're amazing.
I really wanted to listen to Rosemary, right? Because I always love her wisdom, my God, and her experiences, and the kind of love she shows women and how she teaches women. But what I'm going to do is that after the whole show, I'm going to start all over again and watch the whole thing. But let me say this, our sisters out there, it is very, very true that we have so many women who are abusive in their relationships. We have so many toxic women, and it is the fact. And they capitalize on their weaknesses to be toxic, which is so unfortunate, you know. You know how you are the weaker sex, but yet you are the toxic one, and you are the petrol to the fire. So let's just say the men are the fire, right? While the women, we know how to pop petrol to make it
fuel it.
So the fact is, so many men are in abusive relationships, and I'm talking about. And when we talk about abuse, we're not just talking about physical, abuse, eating and wherever. We're talking about verbal abuse. There is nothing as deep as verbal and emotional abuse.
For Jesus.
Physical abuse can inflict injury on your physical bodies, right? But verbal and emotional abuse goes deeper. It becomes a psychological issue. It becomes a mental issue. It can drive anybody. Oh, did it cut? Hello?
Yeah, we're listening to you.
Hear me?
Yeah, we're listening to you.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't lose the connection. So the emotional and verbal abuse can really drive a normal person insane after a while. You understand? And so a whole lot of women can be aware. And abuse is really not a gender thing. It is not a male thing or a female thing. It's a personality disorder thing, where a whole lot of people become abusive because of their own experiences, upbringing, you know, and just the choice of sometimes this abuse is a choice. It's something we just choose to, how we respond to situations and people, and how we respond to situations that are not favorable. So instead of us to respond with wisdom and gentility, we choose chaos, we choose toxicity.
I was going to ask you, Toyin, because you said women put fuel on the fire. How so?
Yeah. Because there are some situations that we can handle calmly without necessarily turning the tables, without necessarily escalating it and making it a bigger issue. See, women have to learn to express themselves without turning situations into a bigger issue. Because, first of all, you have to understand that when it comes to abuse, when it comes to strength, no women, majority of them, not all of them, because there are some that are Afro-caste, right, who are very, very strong. But majority of the time, we don't have the bones that the men have. And so it makes sense for you to take your time to analyze the situation well, express yourself without anger, without chaos, without toxicity, because I have realized that chaos and toxicity does not solve this problem. What is the problem and what is the solution to the problem? That is what everybody should focus on. But when there is a problem on ground, and instead of you to seek a proper avenue or channel to resolving it, then you turn it into an abusive issue, into a verbally abusive issue, you know, and then it escalates. It turns everything upside down, and before you know it, that's what's going on.
Toyin, when you say that, Toyin, you said some women are toxic. Would you please explain to your audience, to people listening to you now? Lots of women are listening to you now. A lot will be listening after the show is over. How are women, specifically talking, toxic?
Verbally. We are toxic verbally. When we are angry, there are things that we say that we're not supposed to say. There are attitudes we put forth that we're not supposed to be putting forth. So, and that is the situation. You understand? Our words are bigger and deeper than the men. The men are not given to words. The men are not given to verbal abuse. Except he is raised that way. Men are given to physical fists. You understand? But we women, we are very, very good with words, and we know how to rile people up. And our words can really make us femininely gentle or toxic, depending on how we use those words. So it's very, very important. And sometimes we can be very, very destructive. I've seen situations where some women are angry and they're breaking things. You know, I remember when I was in Nigeria, like I had to counsel the lady, right? She had issues with her husband and she was breaking her plate, breaking her
you have to go back and spend money on them again.
TVs just because you are angry. Then I had to tell her that at the end of the day, who is going to replace all those things? She said she's the one. After all, she was the one that bought them and she had the rights to replace them. I said, come, this is the spirit of destruction that you're allowing to ruin your own life.
The spirit of destruction.
Ruin your own life just because you are angry.
Toyin,
so those are examples.
Toyin, I'd like you in a few seconds speak to women. You are with your husband, you are with your boyfriend, and a hot argument comes up. How is a woman to behave to de-escalate the situation?
Forget that. Don't argue. Just don't argue. There is no need for argument. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you have to learn to say our own, to say whatever we believe. You understand? To say our truths without turning it into argument. Because it is what it is. Some people are very, very argumentative. And when you're trying to really, really buttress your point, and you're repeating it all over again, and then before you know it, the tempo is rising, it will turn into fight. So just don't go there. Or just say, oh, this is what I believe, and just leave it at that. Always learn not to argue or turn the situation into something bigger than how it already is. Learn to always nip it in the bud immediately, and that does not make you foolish. In fact, it makes you wise.
Absolutely.
So that's just what it is.
Thank you so much, Ada, the most Ada of all Adas. One of the most beautiful ladies I see on Facebook. Thank you, Toyin Abiola.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
We love Chat Night Africa.
All right, now you love Chat Night Africa. We're continuing. I'm going to... Phones are ringing left and right, and I can understand. Now, if you have a question, dial this number, not Rosemary's number. If you have a question, please dial the number 240-603-7367. If you have a question, please call the number 240-603-7367. I'm going to have my guest take a little bit of rest. Maybe she needs a glass of water. She'll be coming back on the platform. Time for us for this transition. But before we do that, take note, this show is going on live now on different platforms. It's on the internet, www.chatnightafrica.net, www.chatnightafrica.net. It's also going on LinkedIn, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. You know, when the queen of talk shows in social media is here, we've got to give this the magnitude it deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, this interlude will be back after just a minute. Well, it looks like we'll be back just in a minute. Chat Night Africa, Africa's voice to the world. Voices of Africa, health, mind, family matters, all on Chat Night Africa. www.chatnightafrica.net. Chat Night Africa, Africa's flagship online broadcast platform. On the anchor deck, Divine Chamaka. Voice to the world. Voices of Africa. Health line. Family matters. All on Chat Night Africa. www.chatnightafrica.net. Chat Night Africa. Africa's flagship online broadcast platform. Ladies and gentlemen, join me now in again welcoming the queen of social media talk show, Rosemary Ewanga. And I want to honestly look, Rosemary, I don't know if I wear that headscarf how it would look like, but I love it. I have to say I love it. And I want to thank all of you followers of Rosemary Ewanga for watching this show. Where the queen goes.
Please, as you're here, please subscribe to Chat Night Africa. He has amazing shows. And you would not, I mean, you're talking about talent, you're talking about professionalism, you're talking about, just educational topics, things that you take home and apply to your daily lives. You cannot beat this. please subscribe to Chat Night Africa on YouTube. Go to Facebook page, Divine Chamukong on Facebook, and please go there and follow his page. Just amazing shows.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Rosemary Wanga. You're such a wonderful woman, believe me. Sometimes the issues you have to deal with, and you are followed by thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I'm asking myself, don't you get stressed out? I mean, the stories are horrific. You've lined up some great contents on asking for a friend. Again, if you are my follower, please go on YouTube, search asking #4 a friend. You will see this beautiful woman, Rosemary Wanga. Subscribe to our channel. And thank you, Rosemary, for asking your followers to also subscribe to Chat Night Africa channel on YouTube. I really, really appreciate you.
For nothing.
Rosemary, what is it that we left out today, didn't talk about? We're going to wrap up this show quickly,
please,
shortly.
As we're wrapping up, I have to read this story. It may be a little
go right
long.
ahead.
Please, can you give me, this is really important. I will try to be as fast as I can. Okay, he said, I am writing to you in order to make someone understand that it's good to appreciate our partners despite our flaws. This is being written by a 32-year-old woman. My ex-husband and I dated for 6 years. We were best of friends. I waited until he completed college and started work. My family and his family then met. We got married and had a son, 7 years old now. My husband was short-tempered at times, but our problem started when I wanted to make him feel he couldn't control me. Every time we argued, I would pack my bags, go to my family and explain. My sisters would phone my husband and shout at him. If he was controlling me, I would always dare him. And if he wished, he could and I always dare him. If he wished, he could divorce me. I never wanted divorce. I just had pride. I never wanted to look like a loose woman in his eyes. One day I pushed him so hard that for the first time, he beat me and locked me outside. I went to my family and my family took him to the police. Every time I looked like I was being abused. But to be honest, I used to abuse my husband emotionally. He was arrested and detained. I was asked by his family to withdraw the case. I felt that what I was doing was wrong. My husband was never a violent man. He did what he did because I pushed him to the wall, of which he openly knelt down and apologized to me. I withdrew the charge and we reconciled. After 3 months, I packed my bags after a small issue and he remained alone. After 2 days, I received a call that he was in the hospital. My family told me that I shouldn't go there because it would look like I was begging him, and my sisters believed he was feigning the illness. At this time, people felt sorry for me, like I was the one being abused. He spent a week in the hospital. After he came out, I just received a divorce summons. I wanted to say no to divorce, but because I felt this pride, I wanted him to change his mind and beg me. I called him and he said he would get the divorce because I lived like he lived like he was in hell. When we went to court, I wanted to make him pay. So I told the court that I needed his properties to be shared. To my surprise, he openly told the court that whatever he and I had acquired together should be given to me. All he wanted was his peace and divorce. We were divorced in July of 2009. Now my husband is married whilst I am here wasted. My family members are gossiping about me up and down. I depend on what my ex-husband gives me for my son to survive. I know I wasted my marriage. I'm here telling all wives that they should be careful how they get advice. Don't be cheated. Don't entertain family interfering in your marriage, my dear women. Even my young sisters are much more respected than myself. Those who encouraged me to get divorced are now teasing and bad-mouthing me. I just thought it wise that I should share my story with you. Okay, so that's it.
That is a powerful story.
From a 32-year-old.
So I want to think that a lot of women have learned from this. Because you see, sometimes when you go to your workplace and some woman is advising you, you don't know what, honestly, what's driving that piece of advice.
Anybody, when it comes to physical abuse, when you see a woman in blood and all those things, and they always come to work crying and all that, you may give them some advice and tell them to seek counseling. And if you see that their life is in danger, tell them to leave. But otherwise, I always tell people, whatever decision you make, I will support you, because I think that is the worst thing to tell somebody to leave their marriage. They are the ones in there who are feeling the heat. But if they know that they have the support, I think it will help them make the right decision. Even for men too, all you have to tell him is, don't ever tell somebody to leave their marriage. All you have to tell him is, whatever decision you choose or you make, as a friend, I will support you. At least they know that there's somebody standing beside watching when they fall. But that decision should never be yours, because I've seen it in relationships. I've seen it in marriages. People go back and make up, and then you become that bad person. But they forgot that they are the ones who brought their problems to you, and you were just giving your honest opinion based on how sad and the pain that they were going through. Now the partner, they become one, and you are the worst person, and the partner tells them, I don't ever want to see you with that friend, cut you off from them. So that's why I always tell people, don't ever tell somebody to leave. Just always tell them, whatever decision you make, I will be here to catch you when you fall.
Rosemary, you hit hard on this. Oftentimes, I really hesitate giving, when friends come to me and say they have this problem with their wives or husbands, I hesitate giving an opinion,
welcome.
especially if they did not ask for their opinion. And even when they
I don't care if you ask for my opinion, I will never tell you to leave. Because when they go make up, you are going to be the reason that they will make up real fast. Because if she goes sit there and then she's thinking that, oh, I was with this man, my bills are not really being paid now. And if I was with my husband, if I go back, oh, this man really used to pay the bills. You are going to be the reason that they're going to reunite real fast. Don't be on anybody's platter when it comes to a relationship. No, just be a support system for them for when they are ready to fall, and let them know that, make it very clear that you will never advise them to leave their marriage. The decision is theirs, but whatever decision they make, you will stand by them and you catch them when they fall.
That's a safer route to take.
Yes, it's a safer route for you and everybody else. Because we've seen time ago how these things have happened, and they ban you from their home, they ban you from the community. You were the one who destroyed the marriage when you did not know anything about it. All you did was a friend came to you and you wanted to help.
Rosemary, this is what one of your followers says. Oh my goodness. I'm having real fun here today. Well, all right. We got to Queen Atkins Diamond. Oh boy. Boy.
You know, I have to tell you this story before I leave, eh?
Yes, please.
I had this friend. I love her to death. And she met this guy, and she was getting married to this man, the man of her dreams. And I was so happy for her. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful soul, a woman of a particular age, in her late 30s, and we're just happy that she found love with one of our brothers. And I was just so happy for her. And we went to the wedding, right? I went to that wedding, and we're going now. We're having hors d'oeuvres. And you know, you're having hors d'oeuvres, you're having that glass of champagne. This man knows that this girl is very close to me, extremely close to me. They had it in her backyard. She had this beautiful home, you know. So the wedding was done in the backyard wedding, just about 45 people, you know, close, neat friends. So he knows that I'm very close to this. And then she just came to me and said, I don't know. I mean, this was crazy. And then he just came to me. Oh, your friend. I am using her. I really don't like her. I look at him and I'm thinking, is he drunk? Is this normal? Is this crazy? What do I do with this information? I dropped what I was eating. I could not have my hors d'oeuvre. I could not even drink. Because I'm that person, I'm very open-minded. I don't know how to hide my feelings. I was going crazy. I called my other friend. I said, come right here. This is what this guy just told me. I said, come, let's ask him again, because I don't want to be like I made a mistake. Maybe I didn't hear words. I said, come closer. What did you say? She's a good person though. She's very nice. She's nice. She's nice. But I really don't love her. I went berserk. At that time, I was still single too. So I came home and I called my friend. I said, you know what? I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. So this was on Saturday. Sunday passed. Monday. I couldn't take it. I was off on that Monday. I called her. I said, we need to talk. I said, I know you people are going on your honeymoon. I can't wait. So I said, can I come over? She said, yes. Because and then I said, I'll be right there. At that time, I was not even driving. I didn't even have a car. I took the train and took the bus to get there. I got there, took her to he was gone to work. They were supposed to live in their honeymoon in about a week. I went there. She said, why are you crying? Why are you crying? I said, no, I just don't feel fine. I said, oh my God, because she's that kind of caring person. Come sit. Can I get you water? Can I do this? Can I do this for you? I said, no, just let's sit. And I held her hands. And I held her hands under the table. And I held her hands. I said, my darling, you know I love you, right? I'm going to tell you something. If I don't do it, I would never live with myself. If I don't do it, I can't live with myself. I'm going to tell you this thing. Then I'm going to let you live with the decision that you make. Whatever decision you make, I love you. Whatever decision you make, I will support you. But I cannot stay and don't tell you. I said, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Is somebody sick? I said, no, nobody's sick. I said, you know what? So I broke the information to her. She looked at me. Then she stood up. Then she went to her cellar. She brought out 2 glasses of wine. And she poured it. Say, Rosie, have a little. I love you. She came and hugged me. She gave me 2 kisses on my jaws. Say, Rosie, I love you. I thank you. God bless you. You did the right thing. I'm very grateful. Thank you. And I left it right there on the table for her. I left it because I know who she is, that kind of person who will invest anything in you. And to know that this thing is a sham, and I go lay on my bed knowing that she is like family to me. She's been a shoulder that I could cry onto. I couldn't deal with it. Bottom line is, I gave her that and I told her, but if you decide to stay, I am here for you. It's your decision. But I could not have this information from his mouth and don't tell you. And guess what? It worked out. They'd already bought that ticket. They went on their honeymoon. They came back. But about 6 months later, it fell apart. But I will always be proud that I told her my truth. I told her the truth. We are still besties until today. And she is doing wonderfully. Wonderful. She never remarried, but she has an awesome life, a happy life. But I would rather you are in a space where you're happy than be with somebody who blatantly, first of all, I'm not your friend. You know that's my friend. For you to come tell me that was a lot of disrespect, not only to me and my person, but a disrespect to my friend. And I could not hold that information.
Wow. Rosemary Ewanga.
We love Child Africa.
That's
and 25
powerful.
years later, we are best of pals as we were.
Let me say it again. If you are my followers on Chat Night Africa, and you want such stories that push you to this, you are at your seat's edge, go on YouTube and search asking number 4 a friend. Asking for a friend. You will see this woman. Her shows are formidable. That's Rosemary Ewanga. Now, Rosemary, I'm going to clear the stage and have you say a last word to both your followers, my followers, and to all the women who are watching you. Your last word, man.
Oh my God, thank you for this great opportunity. Thank you for reaching out to me to come on this platform and for this great invite to come on here and discuss this topic that you thought I could shed some light on it. I really appreciate you for you to think that I could shed light on this topic means the world to me. But one thing I'm going to say to women, please, let me tell you, as much as marriage does not define you, marriage is a beautiful thing. As much as marriage is not a qualification, marriage is a beautiful thing if you are in a good marriage. But please, don't you ever look at that title of marriage and let it define who you are. The content of your character is what matters. Your legacy is what matters. It's what your tombstone will say. Your tombstone, Mrs., does not matter. The eulogies in your wake keeping is not going to be about who you were married to or what your last name is. It's going to be about how you touched lives, what you did and how it affected the people around you, your community, your environment, and the world at large. Please, whatever we do, remember that our character is what matters. When you go into a space and you're married to a man, be respectful of your husband. It does not matter how much you make. It does not matter how beautiful you are. The man is still the head of the house and the head of that relationship. Anybody who did not watch this from the beginning, please go and watch this video and you understand exactly why I'm saying this and the examples that I had given in this show to show you that when a woman is humble, when a woman loves her husband, when you give your all, when you are kind, when you love and you show it comes through your sleeve, it will be reciprocated. The man will turn around and give you, if not more love. Be loyal, be faithful, be kind, be compassionate, be acceptive of others, be acceptive of the downtrodden, be kind. It's very, very important. Money is not everything. Just because you make more money than a man will never make you the head of the house. It will never make you, it will never bring you joy if you don't have joy in your marriage. All that money will not give you no happiness. And the one thing that most of you don't realize is that sometimes the growth and wealth that you have amassed and attained the blessing may come because of your husband, or it may come because of your wife. It may be because of the person you are paired off with. That's why sometimes you see some people, the moment they fail that test, the moment you start looking down on your partner or you start treating them badly and you think that they don't matter and you think that you make more money than them, you start losing all those blessings that you had attained. It was because of who you were paired off with. Please take this seriously. Life is short. Be kind. Nobody has taken anything away from them but your legacy. Nobody has been buried with your bank account. Nobody cares what is your bank account when you die, but your legacy, the things that you matter, and that is what we leave behind for our children. So please remember that our children are watching. We are the first role model. Let's continue to parent them in the way of the Lord and the way that we would expect other people to respect us. Let's teach our children to respect others. All these things come in a neat, it's a full circle. It's a work that we all have to do as husbands and wives. No matter how angry you are, please still be very respectful. Be careful what come out of your mouth. Words are weapons, because those things you can never take it back and they ache like hell. Please remember that. And if you're anybody going through any domestic violence or domestic abuse, please seek for help. Look for therapists. Don't take it to your in-laws. That's where the beginning of the problem gets worse. Because even when you forgive your partners, those words that you told them, the day is bad, they'll come back and insult your husband or your wife. Don't take it to them. Don't tell them, except it's physical abuse and all that. But arguing and all, don't be telling your family. That's not their business.
Rosemary, I think honestly, that's topic for another day. Taking stuff to in-laws.
Yes, don't take it to in-laws. I beg of you people. You are destroying your marriage right there, because you will forgive your husband, they will not forgive him. It's very important. Or you will forgive your wife and they will not forgive her.
Thank you
They'll
so much.
weaponize it. Those who did not like them will use it to weaponize them. So be very careful. Protect your marriage. Marriage is about two people. Yes, we have extended family.
Wow, Rosemary, it takes somebody with such a, I don't know, I'm lost for words. All I can say, my friend, is thank you so much. You have been phenomenal on this broadcast, Family Matters. And I want to thank you, Rosemary, for asking your your followers to go on YouTube channel and search Chat Night Africa and subscribe. I truly appreciate you. This is cross platform collaboration. We have to support each other. You support different platforms, so I'm not surprised you say that. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is also on the internet. Go on www.chatnightafrica.net and you'll find it there. So you don't have to be on Facebook to watch this broadcast. You can go on YouTube, search Chat Night Africa, go on Rosemary Ewanga's page, you see it there. It's everywhere on LinkedIn. It's everywhere. I couldn't go without thanking all of you, especially the followers of Rosemary Ewanga. Truly, when a queen goes somewhere, her followers follow. Thank you. I could see so many of you in your numbers following and subscribing to my channel. I couldn't even thank you enough. I want to also finally thank the producer of this broadcast, Ze Roger Full, who is a blessing to this platform. Without him, this show will not be on different platforms, different social media platforms, Let me also thank Dr. Ilo for designing this platform the way it looks so beautiful. If you want your platform look amazing, please contact me and I'll hook you up with Dr. Ilo.
We love Chat Night Africa. Keep watching Chat Night Africa.
My name is Divine Nchamakong. That's how we wrap up this week's edition of Family Matters. On this platform, there are 3 broadcast programs: Voices of Africa, what you are watching now called Family Matters, and we also have Healthline, during which we talk to medical doctors about health and wellness. Thank you so much, everyone. That's how we say merci à tout le monde. Bye for now.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming to get down. I'm coming to dance, We're gonna dance, we're gonna get down, we're gonna party hardy. We're gonna boogie woogie, and when we jam, it's out of sight. This song right here, it's dynamite. I'm ready.